Have you ever been in a situation where you thought things were going well with her, but something just didn't feel right? Maybe she laughs at your jokes, texts back now and then, even hangs out with you occasionally, but deep down something feels off. You can't quite explain it, but you sense she's not as invested as you are. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And if you've ever found yourself lying awake at night, asking yourself, is she really into me? Or am I just fooling myself? Then this video might just be the most important thing you watch today. Before we dive deep into the 7 clear signs that she's just not interested, I want to ask you for 2 quick favors. If you find value in what we're about to unpack, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're building a space for honest, grounded relationship advice that helps you become stronger, not just in love, but in life. And I promise if you stay until the end of this video, you'll gain clarity that could genuinely transform how you approach women and how you protect your heart. Because the truth is, misreading these signs doesn't just waste your time, it slowly chips away at your self-worth. So let's set the stage. Let's go back to a story, one you might recognize. Meet James. James is 29, ambitious, funny, loyal to a fault. He met Sarah at a mutual friend's party. They clicked. Conversation flowed, eyes locked for longer than usual, and by the end of the night he had her number. For the next 2 weeks they texted almost every day. Late night chats, memes, playful teasing. It felt like something was starting. But then things changed. She started replying slower, shorter answers, canceling plans with vague excuses, and yet she still responded. Still threw in the occasional, haha, you're so funny, or, aw, that's sweet. So James held on. He kept trying, kept planning thoughtful dates, kept sending good morning texts, until one day, she stopped replying altogether. No argument, no goodbye, just silence. Sound familiar? That's what this video is about, recognizing the quiet signs before they become heartbreak. Because here's the hard truth. If a woman is truly interested in you, you won't be confused. Let's break down the 7 clear signs. She's not interested, so you can stop guessing and start respecting your own worth. Sign number 1, she always seems too busy. Let's talk about something that every man in a one-sided relationship has heard at least once. Sorry, I've just been really busy lately. Sound familiar? Let me tell you something up front. Being busy is never the problem. We all have work, responsibilities, family, even days where we feel completely drained. That's just life. But when someone genuinely cares about you, when they're truly interested, they find small ways to show up. They check in, they respond, they make time. Because being too busy is never about having no time, it's about priorities. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're standing in a cold rainstorm, holding an umbrella for someone who never shows up. Every time you try to make plans, she says, I can't this week, but let's do next week. Next week comes and she's suddenly overwhelmed again. You offer to make it easy. We can grab coffee, just 30 minutes. She responds, ugh, I'd love to, but this week's insane. And then you check Instagram, and there she is, out for dinner, laughing with friends, posting selfies at brunch, and your chest sinks. Not because she went out, but because she said she couldn't. You start making excuses for her in your head. Maybe she just forgot. Maybe she really needed a break. She said she was overwhelmed. I should be patient. But here's the brutal truth most of us avoid. People make time for what matters. That girl who hasn't replied in 2 days but just updated her story 3 times, she saw your message. She chose not to respond. Not because she's cruel, not because she wants to hurt you, but because you're not her priority. And deep down you feel it, don't you? You feel it every time you check your phone waiting for her reply. You feel it every time you send a message and watch the seen notification sit there, unanswered. You feel it when you suggest hanging out and get hit with, maybe another time. You're stuck in hope mode, thinking if you're just a little more patient, a little more charming, a little more understanding, she'll come around. But that's not how interest works. See, when someone's into you, they don't keep you waiting in the lobby of their life. They open the door. They say, I've had a crazy day, but I wanted to check in. They say, I can't meet this weekend, but let's lock in next Thursday. Does that work? They offer clarity, not confusion. Let me tell you about a guy I knew. Let's call him Leo. Leo met this girl named Tasha. They hit it off after a few group hangouts. He thought there was chemistry, fun banter, A few deep convos, even a flirty comment here and there. He finally asked her to grab dinner. She said, "I'd love to, but I've got a lot going on. Can we rain check?" Of course, he said yes. Then he waited. Days went by. He texted again, no reply. A week later, she messaged, "Sorry. Life's just been chaos." He felt relieved, hopeful. He responded right away. Then another delay. This happened 6 times over the next 2 months. 6 different dates planned. 6 different excuses. And here's the worst part. Leo started blaming himself. He thought, maybe I'm being too eager. Maybe I scared her off. Maybe if I just give her space. No, man. What Leo didn't realize is what so many men don't want to admit. When she wants to see you, she will. She won't need to be convinced. She won't keep you on standby. She won't use busy as a shield to avoid the truth. What she will do if she respects you is be clear, even if that clarity is uncomfortable. But many women don't want to hurt your feelings. So instead of saying, "I'm not feeling this," they say, "I'm just really busy." It buys them time. It lets them ghost you slowly. It lets them fade away without confrontation. But you're the one left holding the emotional bill. So let me give you something you might need to hear. If she's too busy to give you time, she's not ready for your energy. And your energy is not unlimited. It's not something you just throw at people hoping it'll earn their affection. Your attention is valuable. Your time is sacred. You don't have to beg someone to see your worth. So here's the rule you live by from now on. If she says she's too busy more than twice without initiating, a reschedule, walk away. Not because you're angry, not because you're playing games, but because you refuse to keep chasing someone who's already left the race. Your time matters, your heart matters, and you deserve someone who wants to be there, even when life gets messy. Sign number 2, conversations are one-sided. Let's be honest for a second. Have you ever looked at your chat history with her and realized it's basically you talking to yourself? You start the conversation. You ask the questions. You keep it flowing. And her replies? Short, delayed, flat. It's like trying to start a fire with wet matches. This isn't about her being bad at texting. Let's kill that excuse right now. When someone wants to talk to you, they find a way to stay connected, even if it's just a quick, "Hey, thinking of you," or a voice note when they're driving. But when she's not into you, you'll feel it in every dry lull, every 3-word reply, every time you pour out a thoughtful message and get hit with cool or a thumbs up. Let me tell you about Sam. He met this girl, Chloe, through a friend. They started chatting online, and in the beginning, it felt exciting. He was witty, she laughed. They shared memes, music, late-night thoughts. But after a couple of weeks, it changed. Suddenly, she stopped asking anything about him. He'd say, "How was your day?" She'd say, "Fine." He'd open up about a tough time at work. She'd say, "That sucks." But when she needed someone, she was all in. Sam realized she wasn't interested in him. She was interested in the attention he gave her. And that's a hard pill to swallow. You're not a backup therapist. You're not her entertainment when she's bored. You deserve connection, not crumbs. Conversations shouldn't feel like chores. They should feel like a dance, 2 people invested, engaged, and curious. If it feels like you're dragging her into every interaction, she's already out. You don't need someone who talks to you when it's convenient. You need someone who wants to talk to you, even about the little things. Because when the energy isn't mutual, the emotional toll is real. You start questioning your worth. Am I boring? Am I trying too hard? Why do I care more than she does? But here's the truth. You're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong person. A woman who's into you will make conversations easy. She'll initiate. She'll remember what you said last week. She'll respond with more than lull. And when that happens, you won't feel anxious waiting for her reply. You'll feel excited. So the next time you catch yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a half-hearted message to feel whole, ask yourself this. Are you chasing love or begging for attention? Because the difference is everything. Sign number 3, she talks about other guys a lot. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever been sitting across from a woman you really like, only to hear her go on and on about another man? Maybe it's her funny coworker, or her best guy friend, or even worse, her ex. And you just sit there, nodding, trying to play it cool, while something inside you tightens. It stings, doesn't it? And yet you tell yourself it's fine. You say things like, "She's just venting. We're close. She trusts me." Maybe she's testing to see if I'll get jealous. But let me tell you what's really happening. If a woman is into you, she doesn't spend time telling you about all the other men in her life who do excite her. She doesn't constantly mention other guys, especially not ones she might have chemistry with, because she doesn't want to plant doubt. She wants to build intimacy with you. Now, context matters. Sure, someone might casually mention a past relationship in a story or joke about a friend. That's normal. But if she brings up other men repeatedly, especially in a way that highlights their appeal, pay attention. It's not subtle. It's not innocent. It's signaling. Take Jake, for example. He was into this girl named Amber. They hung out a lot, laughed together, even shared deep talks. But almost every conversation somehow circled back to this guy Ryan from her gym. Jake thought he was being mature by not getting jealous. But one night, Amber said, "Ryan and I might hang out this weekend. He's been so sweet lately." And that's when it hit him. He wasn't the guy she was thinking about. He was just the guy she felt safe confiding in. Sometimes when women talk about other men constantly, it's not just thoughtless, it's a gentle way of keeping distance. A way of saying, "I see you, but not like that." And don't fool yourself into thinking, if I stick around long enough, she'll come around. You're not a placeholder. You're not a sounding board. You are a man who deserves to be with someone who's present with you, not mentally comparing you to someone else. Ask yourself this. When she talks about these guys, how do you feel? Excited, encouraged? Or do you feel small, replaced? Your feelings are telling you the truth. You just have to stop making excuses for them. A woman who's into you makes you feel seen, not like you're competing with someone who isn't even in the room. So if she keeps bringing up other men, don't ignore that gut punch. It's not insecurity. It's instinct. Trust it. Sign number 4. You feel more drained than excited. Let's talk about something that's often ignored, but speaks louder than any words she says. How you feel when you're around her. Be honest with yourself when you text her, call her, or see her name pop up on your phone. Do you feel energized or exhausted? Because love, real connection, shouldn't feel like walking on emotional eggshells. It should lift you. But when she's not interested, when you're the only one carrying the emotional weight, it starts to feel like a job. You're constantly analyzing her responses, reading between the lines, trying to figure her out like she's some unsolvable puzzle. You write, "Hey, had a great time last night." And she responds, "Yeah, it was chill." So you second guess yourself. Was it chill? Was that good? Did I mess it up? This mental back and forth, it drains you. You're overthinking every interaction, waiting for scraps of validation, and slowly it chips away at your self-esteem. Now don't get me wrong, relationships can be messy. Real connection isn't always butterflies and sunshine. But here's the key difference. When someone cares, even during the tough times, you feel safe. You don't feel like you're chasing. You don't feel like you're auditioning. You don't feel like you're one misstep away from being ignored. Take Chris, for example. He met Mia through mutual friends. He was smitten, funny, beautiful, great energy. But after a month, he realized he felt worse after spending time with her. Not because she was rude, not because she said anything cruel, but because every interaction left him more confused, more anxious, more empty. He'd leave a date feeling like he was walking on glass, wondering if he said the right thing, if she was into it, if he should text her or give her space. That's not chemistry. That's emotional misalignment. Real interest doesn't feel like you're draining your battery just to keep her attention. It feels like plugging in, like you're both bringing energy to the table. And if every time you interact with her, you feel more tired than fulfilled, more anxious than excited, that's not love. That's self-abandonment. You're silencing your own needs just to keep her from walking away. But here's the hard truth. The woman who's right for you, she won't make you feel like a burden. She won't make you doubt your worth. You'll feel seen. You'll feel safe. You'll feel valued. And yeah, there'll still be uncertainty and nerves and moments of vulnerability, but it won't feel like you're constantly losing pieces of yourself just to stay in the game. So if being around her leaves you more drained than alive, it's not love you're chasing, it's approval. And that's not sustainable. You deserve someone who fills your cup, not someone who makes you question if you're even enough to hold one. Sign number 5, she keeps you around, but only on her terms. Have you ever felt like you're in her life, but never really part of it? Like you're always close, but not close enough? If you've ever felt like she gives you just enough attention to keep you around, but never enough to truly move forward. This one's for you. She'll text you out of the blue. "Hey stranger, how have you been?" Just when you were starting to move on. She'll flirt when she's lonely, then pull away when you lean in. She'll call you her person, but only when her actual person isn't showing up. This isn't confusion. This is control. And the harsh reality? She doesn't want a relationship with you. She wants the comfort of knowing you're still there. Because let's be real, it feels good to be wanted. It feels good to have someone who will always answer, who will always say yes, who will always be available, but that someone can't be you. You're not her emotional crutch. You're not her part-time boyfriend. You're not the guy she turns to when she's bored, lonely, or in between relationships. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus spent almost a year in limbo with a girl named Jess. She never called him her boyfriend. She never introduced him to friends. But whenever she was stressed, she'd text him. Whenever her plans got canceled, she'd say, "Wanna hang out?" Whenever she needed something, Marcus was her guy. And every time, Marcus hoped this would be the turning point. But it never was. Because she never saw him as the guy she'd build with. She saw him as the guy who'd hold the pieces together when life got messy, and Marcus allowed it. Because he believed that maybe, just maybe if he gave enough, she'd finally choose him. But people don't choose you because of how much you give. They choose you when they want you. And if she only shows up when it's convenient, if she ghosts and reappears like clockwork, if she expects you to be there while keeping her own options open, that's not love. That's manipulation. Even if it's unintentional, even if she's a good person. You can't build a future with someone who only treats you like a priority when it benefits them. You can't keep waiting for the moment she wakes up and realizes your worth, especially when she's made it clear. She's comfortable keeping you in limbo. You don't need permission to walk away from someone who won't choose you. You don't need closure from someone who never gave you clarity, and you don't need to prove your worth to someone who only shows up on their terms. Because the right one, she won't make you guess. Sign number 6, your gut tells you something's off. Let's get real for a second. Strip away the overthinking, the second-guessing, the excuses. What does your gut say? Not your logic, not your friends, not the part of you that wants it to work. I'm talking about that deep, quiet voice inside, the one that never yells but always knows. You know the feeling. It creeps in after a text that doesn't sit right. It lingers after a date that felt just a little too distant. It nags at you when you're lying in bed replaying every word she said, wondering, is she really into me? And even though everything on the surface could look fine, she's still texting, still meeting up once in a while, still dropping those maybe hints. Something inside you won't settle. That's not paranoia. That's not neediness. That's intuition trying to protect you. And so many men ignore it. We gaslight ourselves out of our own truth. We say things like, maybe I'm just being insecure. I don't want to seem clingy. If I just give it time, she'll come around. But deep down, we already know the answer. Let me tell you about Eli. He was dating this girl, Natalie. On paper, it made sense. She was sweet, ambitious, and said all the right things. But something always felt off. He couldn't explain it. She'd cancel plans at the last minute, say she was just busy, and show little interest in his life unless it revolved around her. His friends told him to chill. She wasn't doing anything wrong. But Eli's gut was screaming, and he ignored it for months. Until he found out she'd been seeing someone else the entire time. And the signs were there. Not in what she said, but in how she made him feel. The body keeps score, my friend, and the heart knows when it's being kept at arm's length. So if your gut feels uneasy, if being with her feels more like solving a riddle than enjoying a connection, it's probably because your spirit already knows you're being misaligned. This isn't about catching her in a lie. It's about trusting your emotional barometer. When someone wants you, you'll know. When someone doesn't, you'll feel confused. That's the rule. So listen to that internal discomfort. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. You don't need hard proof to walk away. You don't need a reason everyone else understands. You just need peace, and if your gut isn't at peace, neither are you. There's freedom in trusting yourself again. Don't wait for her to confirm what you already know deep down, because by the time she does, you'll have wasted something more precious than your time, your energy, your self-worth, your truth. Sign number 7, she tells you straight up, she's not ready. Sometimes the clearest sign is the one we're most afraid to accept. She tells you with her own words, I'm not ready, Or I'm not looking for anything serious. Or maybe the dreaded, you're amazing, but... And what do? We nod. We smile. We say, I understand. But inside we're thinking, I can change her mind. We believe that if we're patient enough, kind enough, consistent enough, she'll eventually see what's right in front of her. But here's what no one tells you. When someone says they're not ready, believe them. She's not playing hard to get. She's not giving you a challenge. She's being honest, even if that truth is uncomfortable. And the most dangerous part? Sometimes she'll still keep you around. She'll flirt. She'll vent to you. She'll invite you over when she's bored or lonely. But the second you ask for more commitment, clarity, consistency, she pulls back. Why? Because she meant what she said. She's not ready to give you her heart, but she doesn't want to lose your energy. This happened to Daniel. He met a woman named Serena. She was open from day one. I'm not in a place to date seriously. But they still talked daily. Hung out, shared vulnerable moments. He told himself, we're basically dating, she just needs time. But months passed and nothing changed. Every time he asked where things were going, she reminded him, I told you from the start. And she was right. He just didn't want to hear it. Sometimes, the hardest truth isn't what they say. It's that we don't want to accept it, because hope can be addicting. But ask yourself, are you holding on to her, or to the fantasy of who she could be if she changed? You deserve someone who doesn't need to be convinced. You deserve someone who's not only ready, but excited to build with you. It's not your job to wait in limbo, to prove you're worth it. To stay close, hoping she'll one day wake up and realize you were there all along. That's not romance. That's self-sacrifice. If she's not ready, honor that. Not by sticking around, but by stepping away. Because your future partner, she'll be ready. She won't need years of convincing. She won't send mixed signals. She'll look at you and say, yes, let's do this. So when she says she's not ready, believe her. Not because you're giving up, but because you're making space for someone who is. So what do you do now? You take your power back. You stop chasing mixed signals. You stop investing in potential and start honoring your reality. And you stop begging for crumbs when you deserve a full meal. There's someone out there who will be excited to talk to you, who won't hesitate to say yes, who won't leave you questioning your worth after every interaction. But before you can find her, you have to let go of the one who's not interested. That's not giving up. That's growing up. Because real love doesn't confuse you, it calms you. If this video hit home, I invite you to like it and subscribe. We talk about real stuff here, no games, no fluff. Just the truth men need to hear. And if you've been dealing with this exact situation, drop a comment below. Your story might help another man feel less alone. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.